Alright, let's just get right into it. You already read the title. So, FNAF 1 Foxy, 10 out of 10, right? I said I didn't care for Foxy in the last video. That was a lie. Now that I'm looking at all of them, it's just, they don't really tire, you know what I'm saying? So 10 out of 10, I noticed there's a lot of broken knees and broken shins, right? Like, I feel like that's interesting because Foxy's a runner. Like, they're programmed to, like, go, 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 right? So of course they'd have a lot of leg damage, a lot of like, you know, broken, rusty legs and that sort of thing. And I think that's an interesting detail. If you put all four of the originals, on a in a row and told me and asked me, which one do you think runs down the hall, and I'd be like that one right there because he just looks like he's built for running, like or that he's been running, not that he's made for running. So 10 out of 10. In Mangle, 10 out of 10. I usually, with these videos, I mention that the toys aren't scary, which would be bad, but they're made to contrast the withered animatronics. But Mangle is actually just scary, you know? Just look at him. This is a really, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, because why would a child be able to take apart a robot like that and put it back together and have it work at all like that? Like, how is that even possible? But it's Mangle. Well, this franchise was really good at suspension of disbelief. So we all just let it slide. That this character got attacked, and we as kids we you don't know anything about robots anyways, or as people you don't really know much about robots. But I think this is cool. I think this is excellent. It's all really for the first like four games. Every design is really good, but yeah, so this is a good toy design on its own, right? Because I usually give the toys a good rating, even though they're not scary because they're made to contrast the withered animatronics. But I mean, Mangle's already scary, but let me move on. Withered Foxy, that'd be an 8 out of 10. Like it's just a little worse than the. Like it's still distinctive. It's still a good design for a character, and the concept is just not as good as the original, so I don't really have much to say about him. Phantom Foxy, that's a 9 out of 10 because, I mean, just look at him. I mean, it's already cool that this is a ghost, hallucination of the original character, but this is I don't know. I think this is cool. I think just looking at it, it's just cool to look at, just like the Nightmare, just like Nightmare Foxy. Just look at him. I mean, all the nightmares are 10 out of 10. So let me be honest. It goes for Nightmare Mangle too. I happen to be a sucker for like variation characters, right? Like that's kind of what part of the reason the franchise was so alluring to begin with. When I was a little kid, I just like what order they came and what they look like and stuff. Even though they're all the same, pirate fox, right? Which is already an interesting concept in and of itself. But I mean, just look at him, Nightmare Foxy. He, you know, in Nightmare Mangle too. They're both peas in a pod, even though one's just kind of, you know. But let me move on. I'm not doing all the FNAF World variants. Funtime Foxy, that would be a 7 out of 10. They stripped away the pirate gimmick, and I don't care for that. Now he's just like another showman performer guy. I don't care. But other than that, it looks really good. I don't know why Mangle looks like him so much, but it's whatever. Lolbit, I mean, it's an 8 out of 10. I like the color palette a little bit more. It's reminds me of ice cream a lot. Reminds me of like orange flavored ice cream, which is pretty bad. I don't really care for it. And you have Rockstar Foxy, who's actually also an 8 out of 10. I really don't care about the Rockstars at all, but they really went in with the pirate gimmick, so it's really good just for that, just for how deep they went into it. Even though it's not as distinctive, like in the face or in the design, as like the other Foxies on this list. You know, and then who else? I'm actually going to include some of the AR designs, right? Radioactive Foxy. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. It's not good, but I just kind of like looking at him. But I just don't otherwise care for it. Even though it's not on the list, because I'll put the image up on the screen. Even though he's not here, I remember there being that like Jacko Foxy, right, from VR. Honestly, that I give that one a 10 out of 10. It's a nightmare. It's a Jacko. It's Foxy, right? So I give that one a 10 out of 10. We really just aren't missing with this one, are we? And then I'm actually going to include Roxy too, because I mean, just look at her, right? Uh, 10 out of 10, right? Not actually no, hold on, 9 out of 10 because she's not scary, and the game is meant to be scary. Um, she's not even scary when she's broken, so yeah, 9 out of 10. But yeah, yeah, I mean that's all. Well, that's not all of them. There's always more. I'm not doing all of them, but these were all honorable mentions. These are all great designs, right? Even though Roxy isn't even a pirate, but she's a wolf who likes to perform, a rock and roll wolf. All right, that is already a good concept. That's just as good, if not a little better, than pirate fox concept. But anyway, that's all I have to say.